anyone can take a summer session class at UCSC. 90% of our students are UCSC undergrads. They're our priority. They always have been. They always will be. And then beyond that, their friends who are home for the summer are welcome to take a class here. High schoolers in the area can take a class. Faculty and staff can take classes. So everyone's definitely welcome. You don't need to be admitted to UC Santa Cruz to enroll in summer school.
Oh, that's great to know. And so we have 3 sessions that are available this year. Is that kind of a common thing?
Yeah, the 2 sets of 5 week, so the first 5 weeks of summer and then the next 5 weeks of summer, they're really popular across the UCs because students can finish a 2-course sequence in one summer and maybe make a whole year worth of progress on like math requirements or chem or something like that. And then there's a couple of 8-week classes and a couple of 10 weeks that sort of span the whole session.
And tell us, let's start with the 10-week. Like, what kind of classes do you have available that are for the whole summer? But are those, do they have more credits then? Is there more, no?
They're not more credits, but the department that's offering them knows that it's best to spread it out over 10 instead of trying to condense it into 5. So a couple examples would be physics classes with labs. They just know that they need the whole 10 weeks to get through the material. And then writing the writing program used to offer classes in 5-week sessions and felt like it was too rushed to really develop a student's writing skills. So they've spread out to the 10-week, and it seems like a much better fit.
Okay, so Monica, there's an ambitious summer award?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. So we see that the average, both the mean and the median and the mode, actually all 3, are students who take 2 5-unit classes for a total of 10 units, and they take 1 in each session. So that's the most frequent thing, and that's great. It seems like that's a real recipe for success. But Planning and Budget, bless their hearts, offered a little bit of a stimmy to get students to consider taking a 3rd class if they're up for that challenge. So if a student completes 15 or more units over the whole summer, we'll kick back $680 for them after session 2 ends.
Oh, that's really helpful. And if you want to get all of this information, you can go to summer.ucsc.edu, and everything is up there. And so let's just go over the dates real quickly. So we talked about the 10-week, then we have the 8-week session, and then we have session 1 and 2. And session 1 starts right after school ends, right?
Hardly
it's
any break
graduation,
at all, yep.
And then bam, you're in.
Go.
Right. And so that starts June 20th, and that goes through July 22nd, and that's a 5-week course. And then we have session 2, which is July 25th through August 26th. So if you want to take a little vacation, you can come back in July and start with towards the end of July for the session 2 class. And then the 8-week course starts bam, right after graduation, June 20th, and goes all the way to August 12th. And then the 10 weeks is 2 more weeks after that. So it starts June 20th and goes through August 26th.
And most of the computer engineering and computer science classes are in the 8 and 10 week blocks.
All right. Okay, so we have quite a few classes that we want to just bring up. I want to talk to you about some of your favorites. But before we go there, how do you choose a class, Monica?
That's a really good question, and it's something I want our listeners to know for sure. So how do we choose a class? First of all, the most important thing is that the department can offer it. So do they have the instructor? Do they have the bandwidth? Do they have the students who need it? So that's where it all starts. But then flipping around, like you said, to the administrative side, why would we offer a course? Well, when I was hired just 3 short years ago, I was told the 4-year graduation rate could be higher. Students are graduating in 5, they're graduating in 6. So summer session is the opportunity to get more accomplished faster and maybe try to get closer to the 5 or closer to the 4-year. So I was charged with improving the 4-year graduation rate time to degree for sure. A second reason that's really important in my job description is to help with how congested fall, winter, spring courses are. Looking at the wait lists, looking at the impacted departments in fall, winter, spring, what could we move to summer or offer in addition in summer to start to ease those jams? So that's been a really easy to accomplish thing because the departments are just as happy about it as me and my boss, And then a third way to look at it is helping the fall admits get started early. You got an ambitious new fall admit, transfer or freshman, and they're ready to rock, so come on up and get started. And then the fourth I would say the most practical, but certainly not the most important, is that summer enrollment brings millions of dollars into the university that people badly need for fall, winter, spring. So that's an opportunity to make the most of underutilized resources in the summer. It's a pretty empty campus, a very pleasant place to be, but a pretty empty campus in summertime.
Right. You're listening to Monica Parikh. She's talking about the summer session. She is the director of UC Santa Cruz Summer School Program, and she's here to talk to us about what are some of the classes that are available, how somebody could go about getting into the summer classes, what are the dates, and all of this that we're talking about is available at their website, summer.ucsc.edu. And this is not only open to all of the summer, all of the students, it's also open to the public, with the students being first choice, right? Mm-hmm. But if there are classes that have availability, community members can take classes up here as well. Mm-hmm. And there's such a wide variety of classes that you can take, which we're going to talk about. But first, I want to say April 1st is the day it all goes live.
It's the day we go live in Class Search, so students can start seeing what days, what times, what prof, what room, and start to work backwards with their work schedule and their internship schedules and where their housing is going to be. So April 1st, we go live in portals and Class Search, and then May 1st is the day enrollment opens for all students.
And then when does it open for the public?
You know, it's the same day, and I'm glad you asked because summer classes really don't fill. There were only 3 or 4 classes of our 250 last summer that filled to capacity.
Oh.
Yeah. Not even organic chemistry fills in the summer.
Huh.
So it's a real blessing. It helps decrease students' anxiety about getting a seat, so there's plenty of space.
Oh, wonderful.
The average class size last summer, Nada, was 29.
Oh, wonderful. For some of these really big classes, for physics or mathematics.
Stats, math.
I have to admit, I took differential equations in the summer, and I am so glad I did that. It was so relaxed, and it was open book tests. It wasn't here, folks. This was at Purdue University.
It was so relaxed.
You know, it was honestly, like, I knew I needed to take the class, and I looked at it, and I was like, look, I could bang this out in 5 weeks. And in a lot of cases have much more instructor availability and just being a lot smaller of a class.
Yeah, like Psych 1, Psychology, Intro to Psych is a really important class for a lot of different majors, even outside of Psych. And during one of the terms this past year, there were 288 students in it in a fall, winter, spring, right? There were 40 students in it last summer.
Wow. So did you hear that? You can get a class that normally would be 200, almost 300 people, large lecture halls, and you can go and have it in a 40. It's fabulous.
Yeah, Econ 1 and 2 had over 300 students during fall, winter, and spring, during one term during fall, winter, and spring, and only had 30 each last summer.
All right, so we're talking about summer school. You're listening to Monica Parikh. This is KZSC Santa Cruz. Yeah. And so we've talked about how you go about choosing the classes. Tell us about some of your favorite classes.
That's such a hard question.
Because you love them all.
I will start with the most radio show appropriate class, and that's the music of the Grateful Dead.
Oh.
Yep, it's offered in session 2.
Well, what? You mean you listen to Grateful Dead music and get tested on it?
Absolutely.
I know a lot of friends of mine that would be getting straight A's in that class. What else do you talk about in the Grateful Dead class?
Oh my God, I've never had the pleasure of taking it. The syllabus is online if you're interested. You can go to our website and see the 2015 and the 2014 syllabi and get a feel for the material and the speed of the class if you're interested. It's offered session 2 July 25th to August 26th.
How fun is that? Now, you also were talking about an intro to Latin America.
Oh, yeah. Last summer, one of the instructors was nice enough to invite me to come to the end of the quarter presentations, and I went. It was the LALS 1 Intro to Latin American and Latino Studies, and I went to the presentations, and they were absolutely fantastic. Students were tackling such serious and gritty topics. I was thrilled.
Wonderful. Tell us about one of those, or which one's the memorable one?
Sure. One that really stood out was a student had a bag of Skittles, and he looked a little bit unprepared, so I was kind of snickering in the back. And then he laid out the Skittles to represent the drug trafficking. And he did a beautiful job making it obvious that there's even imbalance and inequity in drug trafficking. So he was showing how much the person makes who's, I don't know, growing or creating or making the drugs and bagging them, then how little the person makes who's trafficking the drugs to the U.S., the mule, and risking their lives to do it, and then how much the person in the U.S. makes who's selling it. So inequity even within drug trafficking. It was a fantastic presentation.
And this was a presentation in the summer class, Intro to Latin American Studies. That kind of reminds me of another class you were talking about, Psychology of Oppression.
Yeah. Psychology of Oppression and Liberation sounds awesome, and it's pretty new to summer session, so I'm really excited. It's Psychology 142, and everyone's welcome.
And then another one you were talking about was Security, Conflict, Violence, and War. Is that a political science class?
It's a poly class, and everyone's welcome to take it. It's Poly 160C.
Okay, I want to talk about a class that I'm really interested in. It's an Academy for Entrepreneurship. Monica?
Tell us more, Nada.
Well, it's a 8-week course that starts June 20th and it goes to August 12th, and it's based on a lean Launchpad startup business model that was co-created by one of our locals, Steve Blank, who is a serial entrepreneur and very successful at it. And so it basically, you will be able to take the class, get into a team. It's kind of like a long hackathon. It's a business startup where you begin with the idea, and then you go through a series of interviews with your market, your potential market. You're interviewing your clients, your potential clients. And then by the end of the 8th week, you will have understood what are the needs of your clients, what are the resources involved to solve those needs of the clients. You will have a business plan. You will have a pitch deck, a presentation to take out to the world. And if you want to go after getting funding, and it's going to be offered for both the graduates and undergraduates, and I will be co-teaching this with Sue Newlin, who is a physics professor here, who went through the same academy through, I believe, with Steve Blank, and started a business and has been very successful with her own business. And so each team gets a mentor, somebody like Steve Blank, who helps them go through each one of these steps. And one of the best things about it is a large component of it is through this thing called Launchpad, which is basically you're taking the class through the internet, but each person is there. We meet at the beginning for 2 days and at the end of the session for 2 days, and the rest of the time all of the lectures and instruction will be through the internet, and then also you'll have your own teams and your mentoring, and that can be done in person or on digitally. So those people that would love to take a class but have to work for economic reasons or for whatever reasons, they are able to take this class.
Is it made for business majors?
It's made for everybody, anybody. And I know there's a lot of artists out there that are really into starting their own businesses, because you are a business actually when you're an artist. And so anybody with an idea, anybody who just wants to join a team and go through the process. I mean, you don't have to have an idea either. And so that's all going to be offered again June 20th through August 12th, and that is Crown 90.
Crown 90. And is it open to students who aren't in Crown College?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is it most of the classes if the college gives?
Yeah, and if you have a suggestion for me on how to do a better job representing it on our website, or how to better explain it to students, the colleges are offering incredible summer classes this year. And I don't really know how to do a better job explaining to the people who are looking for classes that they're open to anybody in any college. I think a student sees, Kresge 161, permaculture and whole systems design. They think that's awesome, but I'm not Kresge. So I want to make sure the word gets out that any student from any college can take any of the classes offered by the colleges this summer. A couple other of the highlights of the classes offered in the colleges this summer. There's a service learning practicum There's
what's it? Service learning practicum. Monica Parikh.
There's like 3 or 4 service learning opportunities in summer. Last summer, I heard they spent the 5 weeks focusing on working with a women's prison. And I heard so many of the students who took it in session 1 who didn't need it, liked it so much they took it again in session 2. You can repeat the class an unlimited number of times.
Wow. And who's teaching that class?
That's Franklin Williams. He's so dialed into this town and its area and its needs. Yeah, he's fantastic. Then there's creative writing classes, and it's offered both session 1 and 2, and you can take it twice. And one really special thing about the creative writing class is it's only 2 units. So it really brings the cost way down. You can do it 2 times, and I think anybody in any major would benefit from taking creative writing and improve that skill.
Oh,
much like anybody in any major would benefit from taking an improv class. How friggin' fun would that be?
Yeah, and so why would a parent be like, oh yes, I'll pay for my child to take this class?
Public speaking, being able to change your tone when you need to, going from serious to funny, understanding your body language, reacting quickly in a situation where you're needed, reading other people's physical presence. So the improv class is Porter 80I. Everyone's welcome to take it, and guess what? It fulfills a PRC Gen Ed.
What is a PRC Gen Ed? It's a general education credit that everyone has to fulfill. And then the PRC.
The PRC. I'll look it up.
That's okay. So summer.ucsc.edu, that's where you can go to get all of this information that we're talking about. The classes go live that are going to be offered for the summer of 2016, April 1st. Enrollment begins May 1st. So you get a month of perusal, and then you get to start up. And it's, again, most of the classes don't fill up. So if you're a community member and have always wanted to take a class up here on campus, this might be the opportunity for you. And there's so many different classes available. It's a creative process class. And that's the general education requirement that's very important for a lot of people because it's a harder class. I think it's harder to fulfill.
There's less.
But you got to have a creative process, and that is also important for everything, especially when you're starting your own business. Because as Steve Blank said in his keynote at the recent hackathon here on campus, that to be a founder of a business, you have to be an artist. You have to be able to envision a problem, or see the problem that no one else has seen, and envision the solution for that problem.
Where could a student go to find more information about your class? Like, is the workload manageable? How often do they have to be on campus?
Well, I'm going to get up a website. There's the UCSC sites. It's UCSC has they help maintain class websites here on campus. So it'll be Crown 90, and I'll get you that link for your website at summer.ucsc.edu.
That would be great.
Yeah. So, Monica, anything else you want to tell us about the summer session? What's exciting you and how to get people on board?
Yeah, I haven't been at UC Santa Cruz very long, just 3 years, so I'm still making strides learning about the campus culture and what the students want and need, understanding their language. So I met a couple of seniors recently, and they were so mad that they didn't take a summer art class. So none of them were art majors, and they all loved and craved and yearned to be over in art studios. And what they found out senior year was all the summer art classes are open to anyone. They don't have major restrictions, they don't have minor restrictions, they don't have prerequisites. So in fall, winter, spring, when you can't take an art class because you're not an art major, but you really want to, summer's the opportunity to do that. They were heartbroken, so I definitely wanted to give a shout out to the art department for welcoming students at that time of year. They also offer a couple art classes in summer that aren't able to be offered anymore in fall, winter, spring, so summer's really key for the art department.
Oh, that's great. Monica Parikh, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
It was a pleasure to be surrounded by all this vinyl. Thank you so much.
And there's CDs right behind you.
Unbelievable.